Hey, race fans! Hey, man, I'm glad you guys all come back to see me. Your support has been fantastic. Our viewership's going up. Our subscriptions are coming up. You know, subscribe, you know, the thumbs up, thumbs down, and all that, and everything. And these people back here, they're pretty happy. And they ain't going to take me off the air real soon. As a matter of fact, I don't think they're going to take me off the air at all. But anyhow, they're happy. And man, thanks to all you guys' support and your comments and everything. And we've been working so hard. And, you know, lighting and cameras and all this stuff. And thanks to Elizabeth and well, everybody, my entire family have backed me 199.9%. And, man, I don't know. So I ain't gonna let them down. Well, okay. What I'm here to talk about today is Darlington Speedway. Yep. The track too tough to tame. The lady in black. You know. And back in the 60s, early 60s, I was introduced to, well, you know, it was under different names, but basically it was NASCAR and so on, the NASCAR drivers. And they ran at Indiana Speedway over there at Griffith, Indiana. And my brother used to take me there every Saturday night. And that was my first stock car racing I seen. Paul Goldsmith, Norm Nelson, and we're talking about top-notch, you know. Paul Goldsmith won the last race on the Daytona road course, or the Sands of Daytona, in 1958, you know. And well, he ran in Indianapolis and you know, in the Indy cars and so on. And I mean, we're talking about top-notch drivers. Nichols Engineering from Griffith and so on, and it was big time, okay? I cut my teeth in the big time, thanks to Uncle Phil, okay? I owe Uncle Phil so much for my racing career, or whatever you want to call it, but anyway, enough of that. The Darlington Super Speedway was the first super speedway ever built for NASCAR. And it was built by Harold Burnington. Harold Burnington. He was a race driver. He retired, and he bought a farm, or he had a farm, or he bought a farm. He had a construction business. And he was retired from racing and everything. In 1948, he went to the Indy 500. And he went there and he seen the big crowds and all the excitement and everything. And he got excited and he decided, you know what? NASCAR needs an Indy 500, except the stock cars, okay? And he went home. I think he knew about this piece of property or whatever, so on, where Darlington's built. And he probably knew he could buy it. And so he got together with Bill France. Bill France was a good friend of his. They raced each other all the time before he retired. And, you know, there was competitors. They were racers, and they knew each other. And, of course, Bill ran NASCAR, you know. And he got together with him, and he says, hey, you know what we need? We need a 500-mile race, just like the Indy guys got. And we can bring this type of racing to the NASCAR fans on the super speedway. And if you give me a date, you know, I'll go get the property, which that was very smart. I don't want to go into that, but Bill Francis, he was one shrewd dude. I mean, I'm not saying he was crooked or anything, well, whatever. He was shrewd, okay? Anyway, he went and bought the property, and he went out and sold stock into his racetrack and this and that. And, you know, with Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and cut deals right and left. And he built the Darlington Speedway, Super Speedway. And in 1950, he ran the first Southern 500. And that was for stock cars, okay? And he wanted to bring that type of racing to stock cars on a super speedway that's fast, I mean, really fast. You know, and the thing is, it was designed to run at around 80 to 95 mile an hour, 1950, and now they're running around 200, okay? But that's due to technology and so on, so on, so on, and better chassis and engineering and so on, so on, so on. But anyhow, it was built for that. 80 to 95 mile an hour was what they built the track at. It was a very high bank track, narrow, very narrow. And passing on the Darlington Speedway is an art. You have to time your pass. You have to make your pass. You got to get it done, or you're going to get in big trouble. I mean, it's a challenge for the drivers. And, you know, I think all the drivers kind of like the place, to be honest with you. And furthermore, what was unique about this track, and I still can't believe it, the fastest way to round was up by right off the wall. I mean, you got to run right off the wall. Heck, if you stood on the corner up on the wall and he's coming down through there, he's going to hit you. I'd say they're running, I don't know, I'm guessing 6 to 8 inches off the wall in a corner. And it's very challenging. And the thing is, the drivers say that you don't race on that track really. You race the track. You don't race your competitors. And Rusty Wallace said, if you start racing your competitor, you're going to get in the wall or get in big trouble. You have to race the track and then time your pass. It's very challenging. And tire wear is a big thing, you know. And it's a big challenge. The lady in black, the track too tough to tame. And that's why they call it that. And in 1950, they showed up with 75 cars for the 500. They had 75 cars. And they had, of course, they had them running 3 rows on the pace lap. They ran 3 wide, okay, on the pace lap, because that's what they do, you know, in Indianapolis. And what Harold wanted, he wanted, you know, a stock car race that was like the Indy 500 with big crowds and excitement and everything. So, of course, they don't do that anymore. But anyway, that 1950, they were three abreast, and I think it was 25 rows of cars. Okay? You know, they didn't start 40 back then, you know. You know, I don't really know because I didn't go racing back then. And the thing is that, well, I wasn't even born yet. Anyhow, I don't know how it worked, really, but they had big fields back then. I mean, you know, 75 cars, 60 cars, whatever. And I guess they didn't have really a ceiling on it or something. I don't know. That's out of my league. But anyhow, that's what they did that day. And the purse paid $25,000 to win. 25 grand to win the Daytona 500. Because you know why? Or, I mean, excuse me. Ooh, that was bad. Oh, I gotta be careful. I did. Oh, medic. Hey, anyway, geez, oh Pete, now I lost my place. Anyway, that's what they did. 5. Okay, so anyway, 25, 75 cars. Johnny Mantz, I think, and, don't matter. He won the first Daytona 500. He collected the $25,000. It was a big payday. And see, Indy paid big money. Indy paid big money. And the thing was, back in those days, if you ran Indy and you did, rather well, if you made the race, pretty much, you were set for the season financially, okay? And if you won the thing, you was set up, okay? And due to endorsements and so on and so on and so on. I mean, drivers were cleaning up if they won that deal. And, or when they won it. And Harold, he wanted the same thing for stock cars, and so did Bill. Here's this guy, he's gonna build a big super speedway, the first one of NASCAR, and we're gonna have this big race, that's going to compete with the Indy 500. And the thing is Bill got kicked out of Indianapolis. I don't know what year it was, but Bill was there. He was kind of nosing around, kind of seeing an opportunity to run stock cars there. And Tony Holman, you know, of course, security and so on and so on. And everybody knows everybody in racing. And they escorted him out of the speedway and told him never come back. Bill France. But Bill France, you know, I mean, hey, great man, great businessman, all the above, but he was pretty shrewd, okay? And furthermore, Indy, you know, Indy's this high-class operation. They don't want some bootlegger running around and trying to disrupt things. So they just kicked his ass out. But then that's when, and I don't know what year that was, but anyway, that's when Bill says, hey, we're going to build us a super speedway, but see, Harold beat him to it, okay? And what he had in mind was the Daytona Speedway, okay, that he built in 1959. And we're going to go into that later. But anyhow, the track was narrow, like I said. You had to time your passes and so on. The track was very, very fast, and you ran up next to the wall. And if you got, you know, you misjudged or whatever, you scraped the side of your car against the wall, and you spread your paint across the wall, and that's called a Darlington stripe. And the thing is, them cars at the end of the day, almost every one of them had the paint rubbed off on the right-hand side. And I mean, well, they had great big marks across them, and the Darlington stripes, and that's what they call it, the Darlington stripes, and it still exists today. And the lady in black, and I mean, she's one tough honey, I'm telling you. You know, when you take her out for a date, you better hang on. You know, she might kick your ass, and you might have sex that you never can believe, but you never know what's going to happen. It's racing, right? So anyway, and the thing is, the drivers claim you have to pay attention to the track and not your competition. And that's everything I've read and studied. And you have to time your passes. You just can't, you got to time them, and you got to get them down right, or you're going to get in the wall. Tire wear is a major issue. I mean, this track is a challenge, a major challenge for the drivers. And that's what makes it so good, okay? I mean, it's one of a kind. Of course, every racetrack is one of a kind, whether it's Daytona, Talladega, or whatever the name, Richmond, you know, Indianapolis. You know, this ain't a stick and ball sport. You know, if it was baseball, every town you went to, the dang bases would be at different spots and farther away or shorter or whatever. And drivers and engineers or crew chiefs and so on, have to set the car up for the track, and so their driver can perform at their best. And the idea is to win, right? And then, of course, if you're a back marker or whatever you want to call them guys, your idea is, okay, I got a 15th place, you know, this car runs about 15th place. So if I finished 10th, I had a great day, right? Plus the money was better, okay? And that's racing. That's what makes racing such a great deal. So anyway, just to wrap it all up, Darlington is a big challenge to the drivers, to the crew chiefs, to the engineers, to everybody involved. And that's what makes racing so good. Because next weekend they're going to be at some other track where it's a challenge. But this one's a big challenge, okay? This is a tough track. And it's egg shape. I forgot to tell you about that. One end's big. The one end is exactly what Harold wanted. But at the other end, there was a metal, I don't know, they had a pond down there. And he promised the lady that he bought it from, we ain't going to touch your pond. So that is narrow, or it's not as long. It's egg shaped, okay? So now you had to set your car up for this big wide sweeping car, and then you got to choke it down at the other end. I mean, it's a major challenge. And all because of a pond, and the lady evidently liked going fishing or something. I don't know. Yeah, Harold didn't give a shit. Okay, if that's what I gotta do to build my speedway, well, by God, we ain't gonna touch your pond. We'll just make the track change. And that's another thing. There's no regulations on tracks. NASCAR they don't come and say, here, this is what you're gonna build. No, you build a racetrack. Of course, you consult NASCAR and so on, but you build your own racetrack, okay? That's what makes racing so great. I mean, the people, it's unbelievable. And the desire to race is unbelievable. And the sacrifices and everything that they do to get out there and get an adrenaline rush. And that's what I'm there for. I want to get an adrenaline rush, okay? But I'm a fan, right? Or whatever, I'm a nut. So anyway, enough about all that. I got to get going, I really, really do. Connie, she's just, oh my God. I get 3 jobs done, she comes up with 4 more. I don't know. And I just do anything to please her. And, pretty soon I'm just gonna, I won't tell you because I gotta go. But I'm buying a new toy, and Connie don't know it. She don't know it. She won't know it till I'm riding it. I'll be running around the speedway here on it. I'm buying a I don't know what the hell you call it, 4-wheeler they call it. Neighbor kid's got one, and of course I want one like his. And Trevor, he's handling all the details, and he wants me to get a 250. Well, we don't want to go into all that, because that's his buddy down there, the 400, so he wants to make sure that guy can beat me. Well, he probably beat me anyway if I got a 400. But anyway, we ain't bought it yet. And me and Trevor are still kicking this thing around. So anyway, you guys have a great day, really have a good day. And just remember, when you're walking down the street, say hi, la-di-da-di-da, and all that stuff like I always say. But my motto. Make someone's day. Make one person make their day. God will love you. I really, really believe it. See you next time.